Welcome to Facing the Middle East, our news program that uncovers news in context. It's the place that takes you to people you want to know. We dedicated this edition to the historic 12-day war, which saw Israel set back Iran's nuclear ambitions. The striking photos of American B-2 aircraft dropping mammoth bunker-buster bombs into the Iranian nuclear facilities is a testament to the United States' support for a world free of nuclear arms. Weapons whose sole purpose is to dominate the world. It's a moment in history that is redefining the Middle East. As politicians, media, and the public begin to assess and absorb what transpired over these few days, we need to understand the complexities of a war that captured the world's attention. In this special edition of the program, we understand Iran's weaknesses, which led to Israel's tactical missions, and learn what the Iranian people are facing as the war enters a ceasefire. Fear of executions on the streets of Tehran is real. What you will hear is startling. Brigadier General Amir Avivi has led troops in Gaza and runs a leading security organization. He shows us where Iran went wrong. But first, in an exclusive interview, Amichai Chikli, the Israeli Minister of Diaspora Affairs, took time out to speak with us about the challenges during the war. It's the fifth day since Israel has carried out its attack in Iran that many thought would not happen. Joining me today is Minister of Diaspora Affairs, Amichai Chikli, to talk about what's happened with the war militarily. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Felice.
There are countries that are grateful publicly that Israel has gone in and is attacking Iran, aiming to dismantle its nuclear enrichment program. There are many that are saying it quietly, and then there are many that oppose it. What are you seeing? What is the message right now?
First and foremost, when we are speaking about the Iranian regime currently, we need to understand that this is not a separate war from what we saw on October 7 or the war against Hezbollah. Since 1979, the ideology of the Iranian regime was what they call in Persian Sudud al-Inkilab, which is to spread the revolution. They have created through Syria and Lebanon and Gaza, Judea and Samaria, Yemen, all net of terror. And this net has impact not just on the Middle East, but also worldwide. We all recall the terror attacks, the horrific terror attacks on the Amia community, Jewish community building in Buenos Aires, the attack against the embassy, the deadly attack against U.S. forces in Lebanon, led by Imad Murnia, commander of Hezbollah, against French troops, killing hundreds of them. And obviously, straight at the beginning, kidnapping the embassy staff of the U.S. In every single parade of supporting the regime, they are chanting El Maut li America, El Maut li Israel, death to America, death to Israel, death to Israel. That is their motto, that America is the great Satan, Israel is the small Satan. And that ideology of creating this world which is dominated by radical Islam, that's their vision. It is a very, very dangerous vision, first and foremost for the people of Iran, for not wearing a burqa. We all recall Masha Amini, who was tortured and killed, like many other Iranian women, not to mention gays that are being hanged on cranes in the middle of the city. So this is a war which is, it's not about just nuclear capabilities, yes or no. This is a moral war against a terror, fanatic, dictatorship regime, evil regime, against Western civilization. It is death against life, it is freedom against despotism. That is the nature of this war. This is before we go into the tactical details.
Do you think that message is honed? Because most people look at it as Israel fighting a battle for its life, and they're not thinking about their own neighborhood.
This is a battle for the life of the Iranian people. This is a battle for the life of the people in Yemen. This is the battle for the life of people in Lebanon. This is the battle for life of many others in Europe and in the US, because this regime has no end to its ambition. It seeks worldwide domination.
Israel is attacking in Iran in a very sophisticated manner, trying to avoid civilians. One does not see the same in Israel, where civilians are being targeted, residential buildings are targeted.
Yeah.
What again, let's look at the message
Sure.
that's being honed during the war right now. What is going out?
So the Iranian regime, they were firing ballistic missiles. It's not for the first time. We saw it already in October and before in April, hundreds of ballistic missiles carrying warheads of between 300 to 600 kilos. These are massive missiles aimed directly at the heart of our city centers, at the center of Israel, in northern part of Israel. And yes, just like as you mentioned, unlike the Iranian regime, the state of Israel is very, very precise with its strikes, aiming top military officials, military assets, missiles, and we don't see the Iranian people as our enemy. On the contrary, we wish to see the Iranian people take their country back.
Do you trust your news sources? Are you tired of one-sided reporting? You need to know the Media Line to know the Middle East.
The world needs news you can trust.
The Media Line is the first independent, non-profit American news agency covering the Middle East. It's the best-kept secret in the news business. Support the trusted Mideast news source today by going to themedialine.org.
Brigadier General Amir Avivi is the founder and chairman of the IDSF, the Israel Defense and Security Forum. You have been with the Media Line many times to talk about this very moment. Thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
Amir, where did the regime go wrong? It's a huge country. One would think that they actually would have been more strategic and in response, and how they would have orchestrated the response for the war.
The Iranians did everything wrong. From day one, from the 7th of October, they made many, many mistakes, which basically brought them on the verge of a regime change, and basically they brought on themselves a collapse of the Shia axis. It started by, the fact that they launched the attack on the 7th of October. They could have waited a year or two to become completely nuclear. It would have been much wiser for them to move towards nuclear weapons while all the proxies are fully in readiness to attack. This would have put Israel, as it did for many years, in a big dilemma, because then if you attack Iran, you immediately go into a multi-front war with all the proxies shooting at you at the same time. And this was one of the reasons why Israel was reluctant to launch an attack. And also, if you launch an attack without a war before that, without them attacking us, then you wouldn't necessarily enjoy the support of the US. We saw that when Israel attacked in Iraq, and we saw that when Israel attacked in Syria, there was no support. So if they would have acted smartly, they would have moved towards nuclear weapons while having all the proxies and not attacking Israel, and attacking Israel only after they acquired nuclear weapons. Then probably they would have managed to bring Israel to the verge of destruction or destroying Israel. Instead of that, they moved and did the second mistake. Second mistake was launching only Hamas to an attack and not a coordinated attack. I remember at 6:30 in the morning when the war started, the first question I asked myself as someone who is leading an organization that 2 years before the war saw the war coming, why isn't Hezbollah attacking? Why aren't the Iranians attacking? How can it be only Hamas? Once it was only Hamas, I can tell you that 4 hours into the 7th of October, it was crystal clear to me they lost the war and were going to win decisively. They did a huge mistake. The next mistake they did was on the 8th of October. If Hezbollah wasn't launched to an attack, The moment they decided to order Hezbollah to start shooting Israel and assisting Hamas, that was the beginning of the end of Hezbollah, and I said that on the 8th of October, that I cannot understand the logic of what they are doing. They will bring the destruction of Hezbollah exactly as it happened. The next mistake they did is when they shot Israel themselves. And suddenly there was a whole understanding that it's Iran managing everything. Iran is managing all the proxies. We knew that, but it was difficult to explain it to the world. But once they shot us with ballistic missiles, the whole world saw what is Iran, what they are capable of. Every European country understood that if they shoot Israel with ballistic missiles, they can shoot them as well. And also, it was an opportunity for Israel to deal with this. We saw the challenge. We said to ourselves, okay, challenging, but we can deal with this. We retaliated and attacked for the first time in Iran, and this gave us a lot of confidence. We can go all the way. We can attack. They're not able to stop us. We're able to destroy Iranian capabilities, and we attacked twice. The first time it was one target of air defense in a nuclear site. And the next attack was a big attack in which we destroyed a big part of the air defense capabilities and also attacked some components of the nuclear capabilities. And from that moment onwards, it was clear for Israel we are able to win decisively, and this is our moment to move towards a full-scale attack. Now, when Hezbollah lost and Syria fell, it was obvious to Israel that at this stage, Iran will make a run towards nuclear capabilities and ballistic capabilities because they lost all the strategic depths. Once they lost their proxies, they understood that if they want to survive, they need to become nuclear and fast. And indeed, they started pushing the program of weaponizing the uranium and creating bombs. And Israel set a timetable until the end of April to be ready for a full-scale attack on Iran. It didn't happen at the end of April because the US was conducting diplomatic discussions with Iran. We gave it a chance, but the president made it clear there is 60 days. We have 60 days to decide to dismantle all the sites and give up enrichment. When they didn't do that, on the day 61, Israel, in coordination with the US, with a green light, launched the attack, and all the rest is history.
Amir, the Ayatollah Khamenei has a couple of options. They're talking about mining the Straits of Hormuz, igniting the sleeper cells around the world, attacking United States bases. What is the answer in terms of the long-term goals that Israel has in terms of this? I mean, what do you see happening in terms of the America and the rest of the world responding to this kind of threat? And also, isn't some of it suicide? Looking at the Straits of Hormuz and mining the Straits of Hormuz, what are their options? They're going to be stuck in their own country.
Iranians' capabilities are being wiped out. They're threatening to shoot without any bullets. And they lost their capabilities, they lost their deterrence, their skies are completely dominated. Every minute that passes, they're being crippled and their capabilities are destroyed. I don't think they can really threaten anybody. And I think that if they decide the remaining capabilities they have to try to close Hormuz, there will be definitely a decision to topple the regime.
Reza Pahlavi, the Crown Prince, has been public. He's now held a press conference to lay out what his vision is of the future. My question to you is that Israel has been very, very bold and very firm in telling the Iranian people to move out to safety. How do you get them back? If you want to see regime change, you need demonstrations in the street, and it isn't safe in the street right now.
Yes, so again, we cannot control what the Iranian people will do. We can make it easier for them to take decisions towards a change of regime, just as happened with Hezbollah. We weakened Hezbollah enough to create a reality where the Lebanese government has become much more emboldened and they're dealing with Hezbollah in ways that were unimaginable a year or two ago. So here you need the same. You need to really weaken the regime to such an extent that will give a chance for the Iranian people to try to push towards a change of regime. But at the end of the day, they need to do it. They need to do it, and the problem is they're not organized enough. They don't have a clear opposition. They don't have a agreed upon leader, and this is the main problem and tragedy, of the Iranian people. 80% of them hate this regime, but they're not organized enough to do something about it, and maybe it will change. We'll see. It's very hard to predict. These kind of things are very hard to predict. It's not like military stuff. It's a completely different world.
Any insight into how long this war might play out?
It's going to be short. It's going to be weeks, not months. Israel is starting to signal that it's about to reach all its goals, and Israel will want to end this once we reach all the goals. Israel is not going to agree to an attrition war. We're not going to enable Iran to continuously shoot Israel, even if it's one ballistic missile a week or something like that. And the way we're going to make sure that this doesn't happen is the price that they will pay if they try to move towards attrition, meaning we can wipe out completely the Iranian economy, completely in one attack, and there is no Iranian economy. We can attack the refineries, the oil fields, we can topple the whole leadership, we can do many things. And I think that when Israel will decide that this is over, it will send a clear message what will happen if it's not over. And then, if they don't understand the message, then there might be really the fall of the regime.
The story of the hostages has taken a back seat right now. What's going to happen in Gaza?
So I remind you that we are operating in Iran, we brought more hostages home. There were operations in Gaza. In Israel, the issue of the hostages is all the time a top priority.
We're talking about the international arena.
Yeah, of course. So Israel is operating in Gaza with 4 divisions, attacking fiercely, conquering the area. It controls more than 60% of the Gaza Strip, and it's moving towards 75%. And in these areas, it's complete control of IDF, completely destroying all the infrastructure of the terror, the tunnels, the booby traps, the houses that they are booby trapped, and with weapons. And the mounting pressure on Hamas, and Hamas will be impacted a lot by what's going on in Iran, should enable us to reach a hostage deal that will bring back hostages. Israel, I think, is moving steadily towards a clear, decisive win also in Gaza. And this war is going to be shortened by the big win against Iran. Once there is no Iranian backup to Hamas, they are in a completely different reality. And this will impact what's going on in Gaza.
Amir Avivi, Chairman and founder of the IDSF, thank you so much for taking this time. Please keep us apprised of some of the developments as they are moving forward at a rapid pace.
Thank you very much.
News needs trained journalists. The Media Line, the first American nonprofit news agency covering the Middle East, has mentored scores of students from prestigious American universities and around the globe. We are one of the best kept secrets. Universities are partners. Students receive credit. In order to bring you trusted news, we need support for our future journalists. Please make your tax-deductible gift today. Go to themedialine.org.
The plight of the Iranian people under an authoritarian regime has become more visible and at the heart of what lies ahead. The majority of Iranians, both inside and outside Iran, have been working towards this pivotal moment to enable a regime change. Over the years, we have seen demonstrations on the streets in the Islamic Republic, a warm-up for what is yet to come. The Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi, who is the son of the late Shah, has emerged from behind the scenes and has publicly called for the people of Iran to take to the streets and overthrow the despotic Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. We speak to a leader of an anti-revolution organization who has direct connections in Iran, who shares the reality on the ground.
A ceasefire was declared between Israel and Iran. Will it hold? What does the future have for the Iranian people as well as for the Israelis? Joining me today is Ashkan Rostami, who is the representative in exile of the Constitutionalist Party of Iran. He's also part of the transitioning team. Thank you for joining me here at the Media Line.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the invite. Thank you.
It's a very interesting time, and we at the Media Line have been covering this issue for decades to see it come to this point. But the Iranian people are getting all these different messages. The message of leave Tehran because the Israelis are attacking. Is there a message that's clear to come to the streets as Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi has called for? And who is mobilizing everyone to make that happen? The dangers as you speak to, and that could be significant as we have seen in the past by the regime. So looking ahead in the next days, we're not even talking weeks or months, how do you see this unfolding?
I think actually the regime has got really has lost his power so much. But the problem is they know that they need to defend Tehran. Every 300 meters or 400 meters, even in the highways, there are stop how to say they stop the control stations now of the police, of the Basiji, of the Revolutionary Guard. So they just put all of these person, most of them also strangely minors. And there is a huge problem there because actually they know, my friends told me that if something is to begin, it should begin from other cities and not Tehran.
That's
So
that's what I was about to ask you.
yeah,
From the outside in, is that what you think will
yeah, something like
absolutely?
what happened actually in Syria. Look at what happened in Syria. No, they began with other cities and they finished in Damascus. No,
Having said that, can it be a moment lost? This is a time in history that everyone's been waiting for, but because of the inner fighting you are speaking about,
Mhm.
can the whole thing fall apart?
Uh, I don't think it's a lost opportunity. We just need to wait for some days. It Because these 12 days were really difficult for people of Iran. Imagine that 7 million people, um, yeah, around 7 million people left Tehran and went to other cities. And these 7 million people now are coming back to Tehran.
What are people telling you about this war? Israel attacked a lot of the nuclear sites. They attacked the Ministry of Defense.
Mhm.
They attacked the state television. The list is long.
Mhm.
What are you hearing from the people?
So the people for there are two groups of people: the people that don't care about it or they don't know anything about it, simply because there were not enough information on the internet or on the TV. Uh, and the most part, the most of the biggest part of the people actually that they know, they're happy because they see all the symbols, if you will, no, of the oppression of the regime just getting destroyed. No, for example, one of the morality police building in Tehran has got destroyed last night, and on the Iranian Twitter, if you went there, or even on Iranian Telegram channels, if you went there, you could have seen that they're really happy. Most of the people were talking about, yeah, this is the building where Masa Amini got killed. No, so we are happy that it is getting destroyed. It is destroyed now. Or the Sarallah base in Tehran, which was the main base of Revolutionary Guards for oppressing the protest in Tehran. When it got destroyed, everyone was happy. It got destroyed, if I'm not wrong, yesterday morning, if I'm not wrong. And most of the Iranians were happy for it. All of the Iranians that I know were happy for it, no? Because they said, yeah, yeah, they were killing us. They were getting out of there, they're getting out of that building to kill us, and now that building doesn't exist. So, seeing the symbols of regime, the operation of regime getting destroyed, it actually a really positive thing, and the Iranians take it really positively.
There's word out that there were executions of people. What can you tell us about that? And this again in the last 12 days.
Unfortunately, yeah, regime while going with the war, uh, they couldn't do anything else. They couldn't defend themselves, and they understood that offensively against Israel, they're not that capable. So the only thing that remained for regime was continue his internal oppression. No, so they arrested so many people. They arrested so many activists. They hanged, I think, around 30 people in 12 days. No, for different accusation. Most of them were for the accusation of espionage for Israel, which is an absurd thing because it was clear that there were some political prisoners in the prison that they wanted to kill, and they just killed them because, and they used this excuse to kill them. Uh, and because also to make, to how do you say, to horrify people, no, that the people of Iran should know that if they come out against Islamic Republic, yeah, it is right that we're in war, but if you come out against us, we will kill you again. That's the oppression machine of any autocratic regime. And also Islamic Republic did that. Right now, what we heard 2 hours ago, that someone on the parliament told that we need to change the law about how do you say, the people that are against us, the spies of the enemy. We need to change the laws on espionage against Islamic Republic so we could process and kill people that we want much easier than before. It was just plainly they said it. No, they're saying that they were saying during these 12 days that if the war stops, the moment the war stops, we are going to kill so many people. They did say directly that we're going to hang and kill people, even in mass graves, that we're going to need other mass graves to use. So they were telling it. They were talking about it in those 12 days. And that is the reason why people of Iran actually right now are more horrified of this ceasefire than of the war.
Ashkan Rostami, based in Italy, the
Yeah.
representative in exile for the Constitutionalist Party of Iran. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
insights, and be safe as well.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Facing the Middle East, where we unlock the hidden truths of the world's most contentious region. We encourage you to follow our daily news stories produced by our seasoned journalists throughout the Middle East and invite you to learn what journalism is truly about. Visit themedialine.org for news you need to know and trust.